All right. So
Yes.
whenever you want to have a Zoom meeting, African Views has an account. So you just request it and then we'll give you that. So you can speak as long as you want. Um, Obviously, if you want a short meeting amongst yourself for about 30 minutes, that's okay. But if you don't know how long it's going to last, just get the Zoom link from African Views. Okay. I'm going to show you all of that, how to work it. There are some things that you need to know. We need a representative from the student chapter to be part of the circle of trust. That means that you will be in a WhatsApp group of African Views International. It's a very concise group, but filled with so many celebrities and people that are a lot of professors and so on and so forth. There's some discussions that goes on there, and you might be able to benefit from. But what's important is you can take knowledge from here and plug it in your own student chapter WhatsApp and create a dialogue over a discussion, whatever it is you want to do, or at least keep yourselves informed about what goes on in the AV International. So keep that in mind. I hope that Lira University has been able to create a WhatsApp group for the student chapter as well. Um, if not, I recommend that you do so and then you use that process. Okay. So I think we are perhaps complete. We're back here. So we'll now, I think Nadine was speaking, or she was just finished speaking, and Ebony was about to start. So let's continue.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Ebony Blair. I'm one of the students at the AVSC University of Suriname. I want to thank Sarah and Oma for being willing to help us with the student chapter. We have already discussed with 7 students and our teacher. She's willing to help us with the letter that we have to write. And what else?
Go on, Ebony.
My English is very bad.
Your English is very good. Come on, speak. We understand you. You're clear. You're succinct. It's beautiful. Don't worry about it. Your English is very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Wale sent some documents. I've started reading, but I haven't read all of them. But I think later I will read all of the documents, and I've seen that we have a link to registry. And I think we will do that before end of this moment, the future next week. And I would like to ask if we can start officially end of July, because we have exam in July, and during the conference we will not study, and we have a lot to pick up.
Of course. I think the date you start is up to you. So you certainly want to pick a convenient date, and I think after the exam is a very good time. The Lira University had some kind of challenges like that, and they can also guide you in that. But I think this is just normal that you want to wait till after exam to make sure that things are not in the way. Also, what was I going to say? Also, you there's something that came to my mind and it just skipped my mind again. When it comes back to my mind, I'll let you know. So go ahead. Go ahead. Who else wants to say something? Just to remind you also, at ADEC, you have a lot of professors that can guide you with this. And ADEC is a smaller university compared to Lira. Okay. So I don't think that you're going to have the kind of challenges that they had to go through in Uganda. The Ugandan system is very strict by its nature itself. So it's very strict. So I wasn't surprised of what they went through at Lira University. But what they didn't know is that they have some of the brightest minded students. Maybe they know anyway, but it's what the challenge that I'm so happy. But one thing that I've always been very proud of is the work that Sarah is doing. And Sarah, you'll be surprised how the work you're doing on the scientific field resonates with ADEC University and with Suriname itself. Okay, so I would like you to share a little bit of that to get the students oriented and motivated. It's very important, and then we'll continue on this trail of registrations. Please.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wale. I always feel so happy when you ask me to share that, because I mean, like, part of my goal is to raise awareness among the youth. And yeah, it's a good opportunity that you've given me. So part of the work that I do is raise awareness about solar radiation modification. I don't know whether you're a bit familiar with it, but solar radiation modification, there are a set of new technologies that are being developed to combat the climate change crisis. So you know how the climate change crisis is becoming something that the globe is worried about. So scientists are now conducting research to see how they can limit the warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius, and they've developed several approaches to counteract that. So what they want to do is that they want to reduce the amount of, if you understand the climate change, how the climate change crisis has come about, the greenhouse gases and the greenhouse effect. So what they want to do is like limit the amount of sun's radiation that is reaching the earth. So the new approaches like stratospheric aerosol injection, they have several approaches that if you're to study about them, you come to realize that some of them are very extreme. So these approaches are basically being researched right now. But of course, there's no such thing as a small scale research, because then how will they know that it works for real if they don't go out there and conduct experiments, right? And the one that really is very scary for me is the stratospheric aerosol injection, because they want to mimic the impact of a gigantic volcanic eruption. So I think in 2019, I'm not sure whether it's late 90s or early 2000s, there was a volcanic eruption that happened in the Philippines. And when the volcanic eruption happened, there was they noticed that in a period of 2 years, the Earth's global average temperature reduced for a period of 2 years. And so when scientists were trying to conduct the research and find out why it was the case, they realized that when the volcanic eruption happened, sulfur dioxide was released into the atmosphere out of the volcanic eruption, and that kind of the sulfur dioxide remained in the Earth's atmosphere for that period of 2 years, and then acted as a very reflective material. So when the sun would hit the sulfur dioxide that was in the atmosphere at the time, the sun's radiation would be bounced into space. So it kind of kept the Earth relatively cold for a period of 2 years. So now what scientists want to do is mimic that effect, but on a larger scale. So they want to inject sulfur dioxide into the Earth's atmosphere so that they are able to limit warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. But that doesn't address the real cause of climate change, because then we're not looking at now emission reduction. We're not looking at all these other measures to combat climate change. And also the concerns that people are raising is that what effect is sulfur dioxide going to have? Sulfur in itself can even result into acidic rain, right? And even the impacts of limiting the amount of sun that reaches the earth, what effect is it going to have on normal plant life? And remember, we are very heavily dependent on agriculture for our food supplies, right? And why I'm very interested in it is because Africa has suffered the most because of the climate change crisis. And we do not understand the impacts of some of these technologies. What if it's another way of colonialism, right? Because if, let's say, a superpower is having control of the amount of sulfur dioxide that is injected in space, what impacts is it going to have on Africa? And can kind of ration it out so that we, the Africans, are actually affected, or any part of the continent, we will not be having like full control of the outer space. I mean, like the atmosphere and stuff. And the fact that we have suffered the most out of the climate change crisis. Sorry, because of the climate change crisis, we need to understand what do these technologies contain. But most importantly, I'm very interested in the governance part of it, because it's very important for these technologies to be governed from the very start. Are we looking at the kind of research that they're developing? We want to know what kind of research they're developing, and also create frameworks to govern the research, and also later govern the implementation of some of these technologies. So I've just given an example of stratospheric aerosol injection, but there are so many technologies that are being developed. There's one that is supposed to be deployed in the oceans, to its ocean seeding. So they want to increase the plankton life. I think they want to increase the amount of green cover within the ocean, because the oceans absorb a lot of carbon dioxide, and they've been really playing a very key role in in kind of limiting warming. So they want to increase the plant life in the ocean, so that they're in position to absorb, the oceans are able to take in more carbon dioxide. But all of these technologies really pose very serious risks. And the sad bit of it is that so many youth do not know about it, and yet the things are already being conducted. For example, the stratospheric aerosol injection, it's already being conducted by Harvard, and it's funded by renowned rich people all over the world. Like Bill Gates is funding this Scope X project. And recently there was also, just February this year, there was an experiment being conducted in Mexico, where like a company was called, the company is called Set Sunsets. So they are trying to release balloons to the atmosphere, and these balloons contain sulfur dioxide. So they were calling people from all over the world to take action. Like, governments are not taking action, so we need to start taking action and limit warming. So they want you to start up a whole movement where they put sulfur dioxide in balloons and release them into the atmosphere. Now imagine such a movement, and yet people are already having climate anxiety, people are already worried. So, and such a movement could easily get people out of their homes, and people start doing that, and yet we've not really even understood the impacts that some of these approaches are actually going to have on us. So what my work is basically raising awareness, and also advocating that the research of these technologies and the maybe later deployment of these technologies are really governed. Yeah, I'm also very interested in understanding the impacts that it's going to have on the African continent. Yeah, so just in case you have any question, I'll be glad to answer.
Oh, Sarah, so beautiful. Thank you. It's also important for Africans to conduct this research of what the impact of this in their own environment. Climate change affects Africa in so many dramatic ways. We have extreme droughts, extreme rain, flooding, etc. Our infrastructure is so weak and has no resistance of none of these climatic conditions and influences. It's so important. Suriname, specifically in this issue, and I really want Suriname to pay attention to this, is that in the hinterlands, they have also extreme flooding. They have poor road infrastructure. They have a lot of waterways that gets overflooded. And it's a challenge. Even though we're lucky that this time I was there, though the raining season, it was mild. We didn't see too much flooding. But oftentimes it gets flooded in such a way. Yet Suriname is full of forest. And we want to make sure that Suriname remains the capital carbon city of the world, or the carbon country of the world. It's very important that you maintain that status. But when it comes, one of the challenges that they have in Suriname now is the incursions of miners who Suriname is known for mining bauxite. They're known for mining gold. Many of their richest people are gold miners. Many of the richest people are, they deal in the extractive industries. Um, and there's an incursion of this into the hinterland and to the rainforest. Sometimes they poison the river with all their wastes, and it's a condition that is very politicized and polarized. Um, I don't want the students to be afraid to speak out, but also I don't want you to challenge any politicians because we don't have that kind of power. But what we want is to be in a position to advise leaders, at least to give them suggestions and conditions. So it's important for us to familiarize ourselves with what Sarah is doing and what Sarah is talking about. Not just in Suriname, but in all countries, in all African countries. I have such respect for what Sarah is doing. We're also very proud of her, and we want to make sure that our advocacy resonates, especially through us. I know that Sarah was just in Norway. So Sarah, what happened in Norway? What was your experience there? I've been to some of those conferences myself, and I wanted to hear your opinion about it. How was it? What was it about? Share with us.
So the event that was in Norway, they were just talking about like the role that space can play in climate mitigation and climate adaptation. So of course, they're now looking at approaches like stratospheric aerosol injection, and raising they're trying to raise the issues of governance, but also space has played a very key role. We have satellites, for example. Satellites has been very helpful, especially when it comes to the assessment reports by the Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change. They've been really very informative because previously we were not able to get information from space in regards to what is really happening on the Earth's atmosphere, or even knowing how much emissions that was in space. Previously, we're not having that information. So the GLOBE conference, it is a global conference on climate change for space. So what they're basically discussing is that what role can space, in terms of the technologies that are being developed, in terms of the technologies that are already there, the satellites, what role can they really help us in mitigating climate change? But also, I'm also attending another climate event this year. It's the International Space event. It is in August. Yeah, it's in August, and I think it's going to be in Baku. Yeah, so it's also another space conference. So I'm really getting a lot of interest into what role can space play. And also being from Africa, it's a field that many youths are not really aware of. And I would like to really also at the same time raise awareness about, all those other issues and how, like, also bring the other concept of what can we do as Africa? What can we advocate for, right, as Africa? Uganda, I think last year, Uganda was able to launch its first satellite to space. And although they've not started gathering information from the satellites, they are working on it. And I think that's something that different African countries are really, really working to see that at least they launch a satellite. There's been, I think, the African Union, I think, came up with the mandate to start the African Space Station, I think, in Egypt. And I think there are already preparations for that to actually become a reality. So yeah, Africa and climate change is basically now an area that I have really special interest in.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. When I first met Ebony, she told me that they are interested in what African civilization was before slavery. And I laughed because there's so much in that. And what you have at our hands now is not just the contemporary situations, history of the contemporary, rather ancient history, as well as future ahead of us. It's fascinating. So you see that we are going to be spanning all of the scopes And there's so much room for innovations. Um, and there's so much room for contributions. You guys have to think together and come up with ideas together that you're going to promote together. We want you to be exemplary in the entire world, that being part of AV student chapter, being part of AV in general, is something that contributes to the new intelligences in the world, that contributes to the new advancement of humanity, that brings about a body of knowledge that the world needs. So we're so proud of you, and we can do it all together. So I want to hear more from the ADEC students. Why don't we start by those who have not spoken to introduce themselves and to share their thoughts?
I do, Mr. Dr. Wale, I do have a question.
Yes,
but I don't know if you can understand me because it's really, really hard here.
No, you try.
You
try. Yeah.
Oh, I want after we student wrote the letter to the articles, what is the next step that we have to take?
Oma, Sarah, you want to take that?
So like they went later to the university, the person in charge, right?
Yeah. So the question is, so after they have written the letter to the university, what do they do next? I guess that's right. Nadine, is that your question?
Yes, that is my question.
All right.
Sarah? I think the next step would be to get a patron. I think approach I think one of your lecturers that you feel would be best fit to serve as a patron within the African Views chapter of your university. Approach them, tell them about African Views, and if they buy into being a patron, then you could. Our patron really helped us a lot in terms of fastening the process for registration, because they understand the system from an administrative point of view, and they could even make it faster for you guys. So the next thing would be a patron. That's what I'm thinking. Like the next step would be getting a patron.
All right. So let me add to that a little bit. I think one of the first things that you guys should do is to translate the documents that are sent to you to Dutch. Okay, so that it will be easier for many of the students to digest it. Then you want to reach out to students to become members, and you want to reach out, as Sarah says, to a patron to be your guide. Okay, that's why you call it patron. So you have many options. The people love you at ADEC, and many of them would like the visions that African Views brings about. So once you have that, then you have a meeting with the administration. You could go collectively as a student body, or you could just, one of your delegates chosen could go and speak to the administration what the process is at ADEC in registering a student chapter. Okay, a student association. That's what it is. It's very simple. A student association that is connected to other student associations around the world. So they will give you what is required. Maybe you just have to fill out a form. Maybe you don't need to write a letter. I don't know. But it's probably good to go directly to the administration office and talk to them about it. You have a small administration office at ADEC. They can give you answer fairly quickly. You could meet with anyone. You could meet with the dean, you could meet with the chancellor, whatever you need, they need from you. You organize yourself, you do that. And whatever is required, they will give you a list. Okay, and then you go through the list and you fulfill it. That's my recommendation, in addition to what Sarah said. And I see that Omar wants to add to it. Go ahead, Omar, please.
Thank you very much, Doctor. To add on that, in fact, not an addition, I want to emphasize what Dr. Wale has said, depending on our experience. When Sarah talked to me about African Views and we had to go to the office of the Dean of Students. Actually, that day Sarah was not around. She was not feeling well. So I had to go to the office because we didn't have enough time, right? We needed to give you feedback and we needed to have this up and running. So I went to the office of the Dean of Students because for us, this side, the Dean of Students is in charge. But for other universities that we've interacted with, it is the guild office that is in charge. I don't know whether the team in Suriname has the guild, the guild team. I don't know about that. But for us here, it's either the Dean of Students office or the guild. So I went straight to the higher office, the Dean of Students. And then she told me everything I needed. Though the reason why she kept pushing me to and forth and back was because we needed to do some corrections. But she told me you'll need to bring documents that talk about the association, and you'll have to present it to me. You'll have to come up with a constitution, and I want to see the members. Where are the members? Something like that. So we started working on a lot of these other things. So I think the best thing would be going to the office first, the office in charge. Probably the guild president could probably advise if it's there, or the dean of students could advise, depending on the stakeholders that you have. It's the advice that they'll give you that will direct you on what you have to prepare to present. Yeah, although she was very interested, around that time, the students had just had a strike. It was a very bad strike. People were expelled. There was a lot of police and a lot of chaos. So she was very impressed. She's like, this is what you people should be doing instead of striking. This is a very good thing. The African way of resolving conflict is not violence, right? So she likes the idea because it was also relevant in the context, and she welcomed it for us. It's a lady, by the way. Yeah, that's my submission. I hope it helps.
It's brilliant. Thank you very much. Brilliant. Thank you. That's excellent. So, Nadine, does that help?
Yes, it helps. Thank you, guys.
Excellent. So let's hear from Crystal. Ebony, continue your thoughts, and let's hear from everybody. Crystal, hi, good to see you. How are you, dear?
Yes. Good day, everyone. I am Christopher Nielsen, and I want to thank, first of all, I want to thank Dr. Wale for the opportunity he gave us as students of the Anton De Kom University to be a participant of the African View chapter. It's an honor for me because I always dreamed about finding, how do I say this, from where I came. This my great ancestors, and it's like a calling to say this. So I also want to thank Sarah and Alma for everything they told us to do. And yes, that's all I have to say for now.
Wow, Crystal. Wow. You bring tears to my eyes. And so, students, this is going to be very emotional for us, especially because this set here, you guys are pioneers, and therefore you're going to set stage for a lot of things. Especially because you're going to be connecting with each other with at the same level and the same age groups, and you're going to share experiences on this. A lot you're going to learn from each other. and also about the world. I am, I'm so touched and so moved in many ways that what we're about to, what we're unfolding here is very meaningful and it's very important. And Omar brings it home by expressing just how she feels. And I'm sure this is how every one of us feel in one way or the other. So this is a very good thing, that we're doing. I also want to mention that, all that we're doing has multifaceted inclusions of faculties, career orientations, just different dynamics of intelligence. As you know, even at Lira University, we have people who are interested in technology advancement who are part of the group. We're going to be developing an app. You guys have to develop an app for your student chapter as well for communication across different international university bodies. I think, we'll get there. Just imagine all the things that could be coming out of what we're doing. There's a good future in this, and I really want you guys to keep your focus, be open. This is something that is very revolutionary. It's very peaceful, and it could very well be the holy grail for us Africans in the world in order for us to be on par, recognized on par in our intelligence with the rest of the world. And we may be the kind of change that our ancestors have died for. So there's a lot is given to us, and to whom a lot is given, a lot is expected. So this is a good beginning. I want you to keep that in mind and be prepared for it. We're all going to be very strong, but we're all going to get the job done. Thank you very much. Thanks. Let's hear from who else is with us here. Okay, so it's just us now. I think Crystal has spoken, Nadine has spoken, and Ebony has. Serrano is not able to make it. I'm surprised. With all this enthusiasm, where is Guy?
Yeah, yes, he had another appointment for today.
Okay,
That's
right.
why. And
Okay.
there are also two other students, because we were with our 7, and the 2 others, they asked us to record it so they can listen to it later.
Very good.
Yes.
Okay. Well, so in that case, I think we have covered most of the things. If you have any questions, let us know so that Sarah and Omar can help out, and then I can back them up if necessary. These guys are great on their own. But now I'm going to make sure that you guys are connected. Okay, so you can relate with each other directly. If you have any quick question, you could just connect with Sarah and so on and so forth. So as mentioned, you need to choose one person. I don't know if you're there yet. You need to choose one person who is going to be your representative in the circle of trust. This is going to be WhatsApp for a separate group. It's a WhatsApp group that we maintain. It's a very important group, so you at least need one representative there. And Sarah, as for Mr. Ojulong, I am expecting his bio and picture so I could introduce him to the circle of trust. I think he should be there as well. So same thing with Anton De Kom. Once you guys have your patron or matron, whoever it is, to be your guide, you will introduce the person properly. We'll have a talk, and then we will we'll provide access into the circle of trust for the student chapter leader, as well as the patron in the circle of trust, so you guys could have access to all this information that we often share there. Yeah, and you can also share there as you wish. So that is it for me today. If you have any question, let's hear it. Otherwise, I think it's been a very productive meeting. Thank you very much for sharing the time. Thank you, Sarah, for moving things around to be part of this. You see how important it is. I'm very, very happy that you did. Thank you, Omar, for telling us everything that you guys have gone through. I really appreciate hearing from you. I'm very happy for what you guys are doing. So proud of you. Thank you very much. Go ahead, Nadine.
Okay. Yes, I would like to say that we will be the staff and student, and I think we will have a meeting with Mrs. Rinya Dulasori, our teacher, and Mr. Henry, the ambassador, and Mr. Stephen AVSC. So that will be the group for now. So we will have a meeting with those persons to conclude what we will do. Then we will choose the person and recommending him to or she to you.
Perfect.
Yes.
Yeah. Ambassador Eric McDonald is already in the circle of trust. He's been there for a long time. So, yeah. So you know, it's up to you. So you could
Yes.
decide on that. Just wanted to let you know. Any other questions for Sarah and Omar? And Sarah and Omar, any other last minute thoughts that you want to share with them?
From my side, all I can say right now is that I'm very excited to work with all of you. And I know that it's going to be an incredible journey. There's so much that we're going to achieve. And yeah, I'm very, very excited to join the team with you guys. And I know we will achieve so much. Yeah, I'm really glad to have been in today's meeting.
Perfect. All right. Ebony?
I don't have any other question, but I want to thank everyone. Because once in a time I was told in school that to work with Africa is good, but it's better to work with our neighbor because Africa is too far, and now we are in contact. We are connected with Africa. I am very proud of that.
Excellent. Omar?
Thank you. Well, I'm excited. I'm really excited to have you guys on the team, to meet, to know that there are fellow Africans, elsewhere. I didn't know actually. These guys are like us here. And yeah, I'm so happy to meet you guys. I know we're going to do a lot. I know you guys look really vibrant, and I know we're going to do a lot. Yeah, I look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You guys are so emotional. You're going to make a grown man cry. Thank you. So I think we have concluded today's meeting. We have lots to digest. If there's any question, let us know. As mentioned, I'm going to connect you with Sarah, and Sarah will connect you with the rest. And so you're going to be in connection with each other. All right. Thanks again. You guys are just amazing. And I just pray that God bless you and strengthen you in everything you do. Your parents must be incredibly proud of you and should be. You guys are just amazing, amazing people. We're all counting on you. People are counting on you. And may God give you the strength that it takes to fulfill all this that is coming at you. Thank you very much, all of you. Let's adjourn the meeting. Thanks. Enjoy your wonderful Saturday everywhere. I hope it's not raining too much now in Suriname. Enjoy the day. Enjoy yourselves. And don't forget to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you very much. Bye.